Hello students, today we will learn about the third lesson from your textbook. The title of the lesson is Two Stories About Flying. Two stories are given. The first is His First Flight, written by Liam O. Flaherty. Second one is The Black Aeroplane, written by Frederick Forsyth. Today we will learn about the first story, His First Flight, written by Liam O. Flaherty. This Liam O. Flaherty, he was an Irish novelist and short story writer. Irish means he belonged to Ireland. Now let us go to the story. Before you read, since the earliest times, humans have dreamt of conquering the skies. Here are two stories about flying. Human means we people have always dreamt of, we had a dream of conquering the skies. Otherwise, flying in the skies. Two stories are given here. First is a young seagull is afraid to fly. How does he conquer his fear? This is the first one we are going to learn. So his first flight. Let me read the first paragraph. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. Ledge, it is given on the side, a narrow horizontal shelf projecting from a wall or a cliff. Here it is a cliff. Cliff means mountains, small mountains. So the ledge is a place where the seagull or a seabird, it stays. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. The day before means we can say yesterday. So here it says he has two brothers and a sister and they had already gone flying. He had been afraid to fly with them. What happened to this seagull is that this particular seabird is afraid of flying with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. Brink means at the edge. Somehow, otherwise, he had taken a little run forward. He tried to move ahead on the ledge and tried to flap his wings. Otherwise, he tried to fly, but he could not. He was very afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. From this ledge or this small cliff where the seagull is sitting, you could see the vast sea down there. That also at a very long distance or miles down. he felt certain that his wings would never support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. He felt certain that he was sure that, or he was under the impression that his wings would never support him. So he could not, if the wings would not support, he could not be able to fly. So he was under the impression that the wings would not support him. So what did he do? He went back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept the previous night. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings and flew away, he failed to muster up courage to take up that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. Here he says that even his brothers and the little sister, their wings are shorter than his wings, but they were able to fly. They flapped their wings and they all flew away. But what happened to this seagull? He failed to muster up, means gather, courage to take up that plunge or the risk of flying, which appeared to him so desperate. So he was so desperate. Otherwise, for him, that particular flying was something like dangerous, because he was under the impression that his wings could not support him. His father had come around and mother had come around calling to him shrilly. Shrilly means in a sharp and unpleasant voice. Otherwise, his parents were trying to make him fly. They were in a way calling to him shrilly and upbraided him. Upbraiding him means scolding him, and even threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. Parents, even they called him and even threatened him that if he didn't fly, they won't give him anything to eat. Otherwise, he may starve or die of hunger if he did not fly away. But for the life of him, he could not move. But for the seagull, for him, his life was precious, so he could not move. Next paragraph. That was 24 hours ago. Since that, nobody had come near him. So already a day had gone. None of the parents, his sister or brothers came to him. The day before, all day long he had watched his parents flying about his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. So, the previous day, the whole day, this particular seagull had watched his parents flying about his brothers and sister, and perfecting them, making them perfect in the art of flying, in the art of flight, otherwise flying. And they taught them how to skim the waves. Skim means to move lightly, just above the surface, here the sea, surface of the sea. That was, so they were in a way teaching them how to move lightly just above the surface of a sea and all. Skim the waves and how to dive for fish. How to dive or catch fish. He had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it, standing on a rock, while his parents circled around, raising a proud cackle. Even the seagull had seen his older brother to catch a herring, a soft-finned sea fish, and devour it. Devour means eat away. Otherwise, he has seen his older brother caught a soft-finned fish and eating it, standing on a rock. So when he was standing on the rock, his parents circled around him, raising a proud cackle. Otherwise, when they saw his older brother doing all these things, they were so, the proud cackle, they produce some sort of sounds. And all the morning, the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. Taunting means teasing. Cowardice means lack of courage. So, the previous day, all the morning, the whole family, parents, two brothers and sister, they all walked about on the big plateau. There is a plateau opposite to this cliff where the seagull is sitting. They were taunting him opposite of the cliff, and they started taunting, teasing him or making fun of him with his cowardice. Because of his lack of courage, they were in a way were teasing him. The sun was now ascending the sky, blazing on his sleds that faced the south. Now, the next day, the morning has come. The sun was now ascending, means sun was moving up to the sky, and it was glowing on his ledge. The sunlight was falling on the ledge where the seagull was sitting. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. At that time, he felt the heat. And the sunlight fell on him. He felt the heat. Why? Because he did not eat the whole day. He was very hungry. He stepped slowly out of the brink of the ledge, and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing, he closed one eye, then the other, and pretended to be falling asleep. So he stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge. To the brink means to the edge of the ledge. He stepped slowly, and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing, he closed one eye, then the other, pretended to be falling asleep. What he did was, standing on one leg and the other leg hidden under his wing, he pretended to be sleeping. Still, they took no notice of him. Even though he pretended to be sleeping, nobody noticed him at all. He saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. He could see his two brothers and the sister. They were lying on that plateau and they were sleeping, keeping their heads sunk into their necks. His father was preening the feathers of his white back. Preening means making an effort to maintain feathers. Otherwise, his father was trying to keep his feathers and all in a better way. Only his mother was looking at him, but he could see the mother looking at him. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. She was in a way standing at a different place on the plateau. Now and again, she tore a piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. What she was doing was she was tearing a piece of fish now and again, and then her scrapped each side of her beak on the rock. Scrap means he started rubbing each side of the beak on the rock. The sight of the food maddened him. Otherwise, when he saw his mother tearing the fish, that particular sight make this seagull in a way upset or mad, anxious. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. How he loved. Otherwise, the seagull also loved to tear food in that way, like his mother did. To wet it means to sharpen it. Ga, 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 he cried, begging her to bring him some food. The seagull from the cliff or from the ledge started crying, ga, 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 requesting his mother to bring him some food because he was very hungry. Go cool her, she screamed back derisively. But the mother screamed back, otherwise she cried back in a derisively, otherwise in a mockingly. Otherwise, he made fun of her. She made fun of her, sorry. But he kept calling plaintively, and after a minute or so, he uttered a joyful scream. But he kept calling plaintively. Otherwise, he kept on, this seagull kept on calling his mother sorrowfully, plaintively, and after a minute, after calling for a minute or so, he then uttered a joyful scream. The seagull himself became happy otherwise. How? His mother had picked up a piece of the fish and was flying across him with it. Why he became happy was that he could see his mother picked up a piece of fish and flying straight to him. he leaned out eagerly, tapping the rock with his feet, trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. He leaned out means he bent out, otherwise eagerly, with full of desire, because he was so hungry. When he saw that the mother was flying towards him, he was very eager to get the food. So he tapping the rock on his feet. Tapping the rock with his feet. So lightly beating the rock, he tried to get nearer to her as he flew across. So he almost came near to the cliff. So the seagull also tried to move nearer to her. But when she was just opposite to him, she halted, her wings motionless, the piece of fish in her beak almost within reach of his beak. So when he reached almost near the cliff, he halted there, and his wings became silent, and the piece of fish in her beak was almost at the reach of the beak of the seagull. It is very near, but he could not get it. He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer. And then, maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish. So, the seagull was surprised to see why his mother did not come nearer to him. Moreover, he was very hungry. So he was upset by hunger. So what did he do? He dived at the fish. He dived at to get the fish from the beak of his mother. What happened? With a loud scream, he fell outwards and downwards into space. So, otherwise, he was out of the ledge or the cliff, and now he is in the air. With a loud scream, he was crying. He fell outwards and downwards, and he fell into the space with a large scream or with a loud noise. Then a monstrous terror seized him, and his heart stood still. Monstrous means horrible or frightful. Otherwise, when he was in the space, he was totally frightened, and his heart stood still. He could not know what to do. He could hear nothing. So his heart stood still. But it only lasted a minute. But that fear was just for a minute. The next moment he felt his wings spread upwards. Then he felt that he thought that his wings were not supporting him. Now the wings started spreading outwards. The wind rushed against his breast feathers, and then under his stomach and against his wings. The wind, it ran fast against his feathers, breast and the stomach, and against his wings also. He could feel the tips of his wings cutting through the air. Otherwise, he could feel the movement of the wings going through the air. Otherwise, it may start supporting him in flight. He was not falling headlong now. Headlong means downwards, head downwards. Otherwise, he was in the space. Now he is not falling straight away down. He was soaring gradually downwards and upwards. He was soaring means he was flying upwards slowly and gradually downwards and outwards. And in both directions he was moving. He was no longer afraid now. Now he is no more afraid. So his fear has gone now. He just felt a bit dizzy. Dizzy means a bit confused. Then he flapped his wings once and he soared upwards. Now he got the courage and he now started flapping his wings and he soared upwards. He started moving upwards. Ga ga ga, ga ga ga, Gokula. His mother swooped past him. So his mother was also following this seagull, encouraging him to fly. Her wings making a loud noise. So then he answered her with another scream. Then his father flew over him screaming. His father also came near him while he was flying. All were screaming in a way, encouraging him. He saw his two brothers and his sister flying around him, curveting and banging and soaring and diving. So when he started flying, he could see all his family members encouraging him to fly. They were also curveting, they were leaping like a horse, they were flying at a speed and banging, fly with one wing higher than the other, and even diving. Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly and commanded himself to dive and soar and caw, shrieking shrilly. So now he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly. He was under the impression that he could not fly, but now that particular feeling has changed. Now he had got the courage to fly, and he started diving and soaring and curving and shouting very sharply. In a way, he was enjoying his flight. Now he was near the sea now, flying straight over it, facing straight out over the ocean. Now he reached down the sea. Now flying straight over it. So he got so much of courage, he reached almost the surface of the sea now. He saw a vast green sea beneath him, with little ridges moving over it, and he turned his back sideways and cawed amusedly. Amusedly means happily. Ridges means small mountain ranges in the sea. So he saw a vast green sea below him. He saw a big, very vast sea, and with the little ridges, with small mountain ranges moving over it. And he turned his beak sideways That time the seagull moved his beak sideways and started cawing, making sound very happily. His parents and his brothers and sister had landed on this green flooring ahead of him. Before he landed on the sea or the surface of the sea, his parents and his brothers and sisters already had landed over there. They were beckoning him, calling shrilly. They were signaling him. They were giving signals to this particular seagull and calling him shrilly. Then he dropped his legs to stand on the green sea. At that time, he tried to stand on the green sea by dropping his leg on the surface of the water. His legs sank into it. When he started touching the waves or touching the water, his legs sunk into it. It has gone inside the water. He screamed with fright and attempted to rise again, flapping his wings. At that time he was a bit frightened because his legs has gone down the water. So he screamed, he cried with fright. He was with fear. He was frightened and attempted to rise again, flapping his wings. He then, when the legs had gone down, he tried to fly up. But he was tired and weak with hunger, and he could not rise. But since he hadn't eaten anything for a day, he was in a way, his wings were weak. He could not be able to fly up. He was exhausted. He was very weak. He could not rise up, and he was totally exhausted, totally tired. He was tired badly by the strange exercise. Strange means the unfamiliar exercise. Exercise means, what was the strange exercise? It was the step here. See, the strange unfamiliar exercise was this. He started fly. He flew into space for some time. Moreover, he was hungry, so that made him weak. His feet sank into the green sea. He could not be able to rise, so his legs, in a way sank, somewhat gone inside the water. And then his belly touched it. When the legs went inside the water, his belly, his stomach, you can say, it touched the water surface. Touched it, and he sank no further. His legs sank, but his belly, his stomach touched the water. Then he did not sink anymore. He did not sink anymore. He was floating on it. In a way, he was floating on. When the belly touched the water, he started floating on the sea or the water. And around him, his family was screaming, praising him, and their beaks were offering him scraps of dogfish. At the time, the whole family of the seagull was around him, and they were screaming, they were praising, and they were even offering pieces of dogfish to him. At last he had made his first flight. In this way he made his first flight. So students, go through this lesson carefully. The meanings of the words will be given to you, and if you have any doubts you may contact me. So one thing is this: no one attains success instantly. Repeated trials and errors lead them or him to success. Thank you.